10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello. Whoops. Oh, we got a little background. Oh, that's why. I apologize, folks. Hang on a second. Had some background noise going there for a second. I was trying to figure out where the echo was coming from on my system. All right. So I just wanted to speak with everyone and try and talk about something because just like it shows here in the headline, I don't know how many people have been noticing that over and over and over again, when you listen to progressives talking about gun control, it just sounds like they're talking about some kind of Hollywood movie. Not even a Hollywood movie. They're talking like a B movie, a bad B movie. When they talk about guns, they talk about firearms, they talk about gun control and the reasons why you should have it. And we've heard all kinds of things from these people. I mean, just the craziest things. But the argument always tends to start with the same kind of place. They always start with the same kind of statement. Have you ever noticed that? They start off with, no, we don't want to take your guns. We don't want to take any of your guns. That's kind of like in 2018, February of 2018, as reported by Real Clear Politics, Representative Himes says that nobody wants to take away your guns. We just want to be like Australia, Canada, and Great Britain. Now, let's think about that for a second. We want to be like Great Britain. Great Britain has gone over 300 years without a firearm. They're illegal there. You can't have a firearm there. Australia had a big ban recently, and so the public can't get a firearm. Canada. These are places where you can't, as a regular citizen, defend yourself from the government. These are places where the culture has always been, or at least very recently in the case of Australia, there shouldn't be firearms in anyone's hands except the government. So when you hear progressives and Democrats like Jim Hines, Representative Jim Hines, when they say, no, it's silly, it's meaningless. No, we shouldn't take away anyone's guns. Except we want to be like the places that don't have firearms, that people are not allowed to defend themselves. Now that is talking about gun control, and they're not very happy about it because all of a sudden my internet, which has been running fine all day, suddenly now is having problems. But that being said, that's when they start saying, hey, we have issues. This is a problem. You can't really have that conversation. Or they say something entirely different, something a little more annoying. When you hear them say things like, when I was speaking to Assemblywoman Donna Lopardo, and I was talking to her in July of 2018, and you can go to the MVOS political commentary site, and you can see, when I had my interview with the 123rd Assemblywoman in New York State, Assemblywoman Donna Lopardo, in talking about the red flag legislation, she came out and she was very, very direct, and she was very honest when she said, yeah, there's a lot of flaws with the red flag laws, but I voted for it because she wanted to start a discussion. Yeah, in January of 2019, there was no discussion. There was no debate. They just passed a law with every single flaw that Assemblywoman Donna Lopardo was concerned about. Okay, that's what we hear from Democrats over and over again. Oh, we're going to protect the public. We want to have a discourse. We want to discuss how we can save lives and help people. Except we're not going to actually have that discussion. We're just going to take away their guns. We're just going to ignore the Second Amendment. We're just trying to invalidate the Second Amendment. John Paul Stevens, the former Supreme Court Justice, wrote a letter detailing how the Second Amendment is now outdated and they have to get rid of it, that it's no longer valid and it should be eliminated from the Constitution. This is the same kind of logic that we keep hearing from Democrats as they say, no, we're not trying to take your guns. No one is trying to take your firearms. No one would dare take your firearms. That's not what we want to do. And they're saying this to Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, libertarians, everyone who has a firearm. They're telling them, no, no, we wouldn't dare take your firearms. And then we heard the honest truth finally show up. When we heard Beto O'Rourke, when he was on the stage in September, along with the other 2020 Democrats who are all looking to get elected as president, and his answer was, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. They promised that they're going to take it away. It was very direct. I mean, you can't get more than direct than Beto O'Rourke saying, no, no, we are going to take it. And I love his little story. And again, here comes that B-movie plot where he goes, you know, he went after he said that he wanted to take away the firearms from the public. That's when he went to a gun show, and he was people walking up to him who were buying and selling firearms, and they came up to him and said, thank you for trying to get rid of AR-15s and the weapons ban. Who in their right mind would actually say at a gun show where they are buying and selling firearms, saying, hey, thank you for stopping me from being able to own another firearm? And I finally figured out why that was the case, because it sounds like a stupid B-movie plot, something that you might have heard out of Birdemic, where people are saying that makes no sense. Except it does, if you realize that as Beto is running around the nation saying he's going to take away the personal property of American citizens, that he's going to invalidate the Constitution, that he is going to deny people their Second Amendment rights, and he is going to put the full weight and power of the government against the individuals in this nation, yeah, that's probably the biggest sales pitch I've ever heard for someone to go out and own a firearm. Because no one wants to live in Venezuela, or at least anyone I know of. I don't know a single person in America who wants to be in Venezuela. I don't know anyone who's an American who's saying, hey, you know what's a really neat idea? Let me give up my American citizenship and run down to the socialism of Venezuela, live on the streets, eat garbage if you can eat at all. Let me have the government protect me as they run around killing 5,000 of their own people. Yeah, that sounds like a smart idea. Because everywhere we've seen this progressive socialist, this democratic socialist idea that the government is going to protect you. They're going to take away your firearms and they'll be the ones to protect you. Every single time we've seen that the government's the one who kills people. In Soviet Union, we saw 20 million Soviets were killed by the Soviet government under socialism, under communism. China's killed tens of millions of people. We've seen it in North Korea. We've seen it everywhere that there is socialism in the world. Cuba, you name the place. Tens of thousands, if not millions, if not tens of millions of people are killed because the government takes away the people's rights. All under the heading that they're going to protect you. Beto O'Rourke is going to protect you. Yes, he is. Beto O'Rourke is going to go out and he's going to protect you from all the bad people in the world because he's going to take away the AR-15s from legal gun owners. 99.999, literally 99.999% of all the gun owners in America, 160 million people, are law-abiding people and pose no trouble to anyone. Literally 1 in 2 people in America own a firearm, and you're okay. But he wants to take away your property. He wants to take away your right. And so I was thinking about that. I was thinking about how this seemed like such a bad B-movie plot. And then that kind of brought me to, what are some of the dumbest anti-gun quotes I've ever heard? Because some of this stuff is just a joke. It's just funny. And have you heard it? Listen to this. This is from This Week in Gun Rights, the 10 dumbest anti-gun quotes.
Available to people?
The 5-shot rifle, that's a standard military rifle. The problem is if you attach a clip to it so it can fire more shells, and if you remove the pin so that it becomes an automatic weapon, and those are criminal offenses. That they become essentially.
That'll make you laugh a little bit more. How about this one?
It's a heat-seeking device, so you don't shoot deer with a bullet that size. If you do, you could cook it at the same time.
We have federal regulations and state laws that prohibit hunting ducks with more than 3 rounds, and yet it's legal to hunt humans with 15-round, 30-round, even 150-round magazines.
Did you hear some of the things these people are saying? Tell me that this is not some kind of B-movie plot that that hunting human beings is legal. Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? Are you just plain stupid? Because that makes no sense. That is illegal. That is not even close to true. That isn't even close to being any kind of factual statement. That's just out of their minds. But it gets worse. It gets worse than that. How about this little classic that a lot of people may remember?
This is a ghost gun. This right here has ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second.
Yeah, let's translate that.
This is a ghost gun. This right here has ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second.
Yeah, that kind of tells you they have no idea what they're talking about. I have seen better writing in Birdemic. Sharknado has better logic than some of this. Yeah, because clips, which are there to load bullets. It's not a magazine. He has no idea what he's talking about. But he's kind of smart when you compare him to people like, if you may remember, most recently was talking about, who was it? It was Sheila Jackson Lee. That's right, Sheila Jackson Lee. She had no idea what she was talking about. Matter of fact, I did a video about that. You may want to check it out. That she was embarrassed by a 10-year-old was embarrassing her about the horrors of the AR-15, which, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, she reminded everyone that it weighs 100 pounds. It's as much as 10 packing boxes, which is ridiculous since 7-year-olds hold AR-15s all the time. It has such a huge sound. It's such a terrible weapon. Oh, it fires 50 caliber bullets. Are you insane? That's stupid. But that's what these people are saying. And then you get the craziest thing that I've seen in quite some time. I mean, this is straight out of the movies. Beto O'Rourke goes down to Kent State. And you may have seen this already. Beto goes to Kent State and argues that only the government can be trusted with guns. In fact, his exact quote off of his Twitter page is that he says that yesterday people brought assault weapons to our rally at Kent State, where 4 students were shot dead in the 1970s. Now, that's important. I told them nobody should show up with an AK-47 or an AR-15 to seek to intimidate us in our own democracy. We need to buy back every single one of them. Okay, this is the words of an absolute idiot. And if you don't think that's just the most stupid thing you've ever heard, let me explain why it is. I know a lot of the viewers out there, a lot of people on YouTube land, they're maybe not old enough to understand. In Kent State, it was the government that actually shot the 4 people. Beto's out there. People shouldn't brought assault weapons to our rally at Kent State. That's the government. The government brought firearms to Kent State and killed 4 American students. That wasn't individuals. That wasn't the right or the alt-right or conservatives or libertarians. That was the government. The very same government that Beto O'Rourke seems to think is the best answer to everything in the universe. But what else should we expect from people who think that you can hunt human beings and that it's legal? people who think that a assault weapon is a handgun or anything that fires a bullet. They confuse movies with actual firearms. This is stupid, folks. And the scariest thing about all of this, the scariest thing about all of this is that these are the people who are making laws. They're out there and they're willing to say, oh, listen to what they're saying. We're not going to take away your firearm. We're just going to become England. That's kind of scary. That's not just being stupid. That's not just missing a word or two. That's literally playing with you, assuming that you're too dumb to understand that England makes it illegal to own a firearm. People who are saying, hey, don't worry, the law is completely flawed. There's something absolutely wrong with it. But don't worry, we'll fix it. Maybe, never, ever, until we take away your rights. Oh no, these firearms, they're just so deadly, so dangerous. I was so sorry that I touched a firearm because it was just immensely heavy. It's just so scary. Like it's some kind of, horror movie. I don't know, I'm ranting a little bit today and just getting this off of my chest because it's annoying me. I think it's aggravating. And the internet obviously is fading in and out today as I speak about the Second Amendment, as I speak about progressive policy on guns. And I'm trying to let people know they're cliff diving. They want America to cliff dive into the rocks. That they don't want you to realize that they're going to take away all of your freedoms. Because once you take away the Second Amendment, there's nothing stopping the government from taking away everything else. Government is not going to be on every corner to protect you. They're not going to be there to protect you from that crackhead because they have a police officer in front of every house. That's not going to happen. Although they do seem to want a totalitarian state where only the government owns all the firearms and you can't do anything about it. You can't protect yourself. You can't defend yourself. All you have to do is pray that you're on the right side of the government's feelings on that particular day. And I don't think that's worth it. That's not a trade-off because they're not making you safer. If gun control actually worked like progressives say it does, Chicago would be the safest place in the world. Detroit, Baltimore would be the safest places in the world. The state of California, the state of New York would be the safest places to be on the face of the earth, given all of the gun control laws they've had for decades in each of these cities. And yet they're not. Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit lead the nation, lead the world in many cases on murder and death from illegal firearms. They haven't stopped anything. They haven't made anyone any safer. Look at New York State. Check out the GIVE report. 17 largest metropolitan cities in New York State has not gone down. People are still being murdered. Illegal weapons are still being used. You look at the news every day. They've got the laws. It's not working. They don't have the right answer because they don't know what they're talking about. And if you keep electing them, if you elect Beto or Kamala Harris or Elizabeth Warren, who has promised to use the full force of the government to take away your property and your rights, why do you think they're going to stop with just the Second Amendment? Why do you think they're only going to stop at taking away your firearm? People who think you are too rich, that you have too many rights and too many privileges. They're going to want to take away everything. I wish I could laugh at some of these things because it's nonsensical. They have no idea what they're talking about. But at the same time, they're passing laws where they do know what they're doing. They know how to take away your rights. So while you're laughing at them, they're passing that law and you're losing. That really irritates me. When I see Beto trying to rewrite history and trying to make young people think, hey, Kent State, that was some bad man. No, that was the government. The very same people that Beto, the fake Hispanic, the very same people that he wants to put in power are the very people who killed Americans. It was government that said Kent State should shoot American citizens, not some madman. Why should we allow government to have the opportunity to repeat history? Learn from it. Don't fall for this. Don't laugh. Not a joke. But that's my thoughts on it. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on it. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I don't understand. Maybe I don't get what really happened at Kent State while I was alive to see it. Maybe I just don't understand how the government is here to protect you, even though they're taking away your rights, taking away your freedoms. Maybe I don't get it. I look forward to hearing from progressives telling me how I'm wrong. And I want to hear from all of the gun owners out there. Tell me, do you want to give up your AK-47s, your AR-15s, your semi-automatic rifles? Do you want to give that up? Do you think the government's going to protect you and your family better than you can protect yourself? I don't know. I look forward to hearing from everyone. I'm on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. Look us up. Send us a message. We look forward to hearing from you. Talk to you again soon.